Alright guys, here we go on to Unit 1. So this is our normal Unit 1. Unit 1 has a ton of vocab for the rest of the year you're really going to use. So you really have to understand this vocab well. So make sure that you're paying attention to how it's noted, how you write it, what it is, and what it means. Okay? So we have a couple undefined terms in geometry or in math. These terms are points, lines, or planes. Hopefully you guys can see that. And they have no formal definition. So we just take what they are and accept them as what they are. Okay? So a point is an undefined term thought of as a location which has zero width or length. So this is a point. It is point A. How do we note that? We note that as calling it point A. Okay? Or if it's on a coordinate grid, obviously I'll have an X and Y coordinate. The next undefined term is a line. It's an undefined term thought of as straight continuous arrangement of infinitely many points extending forever in two directions. It has length, but the length cannot be calculated because it goes on forever, but no width. It is one-dimensional. Okay? So how do we note this? We call it line AB. I don't know if you can see that, but it has this little notation above it. Or you can flip it around and call it BA with that little notation above it. If you ever see an italicized letter next to a figure in geometry, it is naming that figure. If you notice, there's not a point associated with this M. There's a point here with the B and a point there with the A to note that those are points A and point B. This M is actually naming the line, so we could call it line M. Okay? We could also write down line, L-I-N-E, A-B, or B-A. Okay? The next one is plane, an undefined term thought of as a flat surface whose edges extend infinitely. A plane has length and width, but no thickness and is two-dimensional. I think of planes as like the wall behind me is a plane, okay? But you have to realize that that plane, unlike a wall, will go on forever. So it goes up, 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 and it goes down, 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 down forever because it's made of infinitely many points and infinitely many lines are on that, okay? Planes we name with 3 points. So a point is with 1 letter, a line is with 2 letters, 2 points, and a plane is with 3 letters or 3 points. So we would call this, you actually use a symbol to show that's plane, ADE. You can call it DAE. It doesn't matter the order of the points as long as you have 3. Or plane P. If you notice, this P is italicized inside the plane. There's no point associated with it, so we can call it plane P. Okay? Collinear. Co means with, and then linear we should see the word line. So it's within the same line. So 3 or more points can be contained by a single line. So if we're talking about 3 or more points that lie on the same line, then they are collinear. The absence of a line does not imply that the points are non-collinear. So you could still have 3 points there, and a line could go through them, and they would be collinear. So I would say point P, point Q, and point R are collinear. They're on the same line. And they're on line PR, line PQ, line QR, line QP. We could name that line multiple different ways. Okay? Coplanar. Again, we have the root word co, which means with. Planar, we should see the word plane. So similar to collinear, coplanar are on the same plane. So it's 3 or more points on the same plane. Again, the absence of a plane does not imply that the points are coplanar. That one's tricky because I could have a point here, a point randomly over here, and then a point here. And there's actually a plane that will always go through any 3 points. So you could put a point anywhere, anywhere, anywhere. So you have 3 points put anywhere. There's going to be some plane that goes through those 3 points. Okay? There's not necessarily a line that will go through those 3 points, but there will always be a plane that could go through those 3 points. Now I could have 3 points and then a 4th point somewhere else. Well, the plane could go through those 3 points and not that 4th point. But any 3 points always make a plane. Here, they did 4 points on this plane. We could call this plane ABD. We could call it DCB. We could call it plane ACD. So multiple different things. Defined terms in math are are terms that may be described using known definitions. Line segments are two blank and all the points, so 2 points, and all the points between them that have collinear with 2 endpoints. So here A is an endpoint, B is an endpoint, and so we have made a line segment. It's like taking a line that goes on forever, but then putting a point here and a point here and taking that little section out. So a line segment does not go on forever. A line segment can be measured also, whereas a line cannot be measured in length because it has ending points. A line segment, as the segment's measure, is its distance. So how long it is its distance. To note segments, you put a segment above the letters. So before, when it was a line, you would put arrows on the end because they go on forever, but a segment is different. We call that segment AB or segment BA. Or you could write down the word itself, segment, and write AB. Okay? The next vocab word is ray. It has one endpoint and all the points that are collinear with the endpoint extending in one direction infinitely. So it has an endpoint here, X. And then it goes through Y. And if you notice, there is a arrow, meaning it's going to go on forever and ever and ever in that direction. It just stops in right here. So think to yourself, can I measure a ray? It has an endpoint, but it goes on forever in the other direction. So you cannot measure a ray because it's going to go on forever and ever and ever. To note a ray, you draw a ray, and this would be called ray XY. You would not call this ray YX because the endpoint has to be above the letter with the endpoint. This would say that the endpoint's at Y and it goes through X forever, so that would be incorrect. Hopefully that makes sense so far. Normally I'd be asking for questions, so this is kind of awkward because if you have questions, I'm sorry. The other thing is guys, I mess up and I make mistakes, and I'm going to make mistakes on this video, like mathematical mistakes or spelling mistakes. And normally in class, you guys would be like, hey, Miss Dole, you made a mistake there. But on the video, I can't have you catch it, so that kind of stinks, right? So if I make a mistake, I do apologize. I'm sure that you will catch them. Hopefully it won't be so horrible that it messes you up completely, right? Okay, opposite rays are two rays that share a common end point or starting point, and they extend in opposite directions. So really, when you have a line, you kind of have two opposite rays. You have ray B to A, because the endpoint's at B, and you have ray BC. They are opposite. So when we have opposite rays, what you're really getting is a line. Opposite rays line are collinear. They can be contained by a single plane. The wording on that's not correct. Intersections. So we have intersections of items. So we have to think about what this would look like if I intersected. So 2 points intersect. So if I had 2 points and they intersect, what are they going to make? They're just going to make a point. Okay? If I have, the next one is 2 lines. I'm trying to find 2 lines. Oh, we use pens. So think of these as lines, not line segments. If I intersect them, intersect means crossing, right? So if I cross them, what are they going to cross at? That little point right there. So 2 lines intersect at a point. All right, planes. I'm going to get some index cards. So these are planes. Remember though, planes go on forever and ever. Index cards stop, but planes will keep going on. So if I intersect 2 planes, so if I do this, what is that intersection at? Is it just one little point? It looks like a line segment, doesn't it? But we have to remember that planes go on forever. So if that line segment is going on forever, what do we actually call the line segment that goes on forever? We call that a line. So any 2 planes will always intersect at a line. Think of probably the room you're in. Think of one wall hitting another wall. So we talked about those can be planes, right? So when they hit each other, they're going to create this line segment. But think about it's going to go on forever, up and down. So a point and a line. So here's a point. Think of just the tip of the pencil and a line. What are they intersecting at? They just intersect at a point. A point and a plane. So I have my point, and I put I have my plane and I put just a point on it. So that intersects at just a point. And then the last one is a line and a plane. So if I think about this, here's my plane, here's my line. If I'm intersecting, trying to get this to go through, that means that the line is going through. What's it going to intersect at? Just a point, right? Just that point, that hole that it made. Okay, what I want for you to do is I want for you to pause me, and I want for you to answer questions A through J, and then you're going to unpause me and check yourself. Okay, so hopefully you went through and completed this part. Let's go through and check it. So line EG, line FG, or you could flip these letters around. That would also be another answer. Another way to write the equivalent of that would be segment FE. This is the only answer. Give another way to write that. That would be ray EG. And again, this is the only answer. EIG, F, and H are coplanar. Two sets of collinear points are EG and GJ. Those are not the only two answers. This one was false because EG goes this way, and what's the other one? FG goes this way. They have to have the same endpoint, if we remember. Intersection of the line and segment is a point, and it's point G. Plane and ray would be point G again, and intersection of both those planes is a line. It looks like a line segment on this, but remember, planes go on forever, so it's line HI. Plane B and segment HI would be, and that one's incorrect, would just be segment HI, the distance of HI. Draw what I say. What I want for you to do real quick is pause me, draw those, and then unpause me to see if you got it correct. Okay, so I'm going to go through these, and these could be drawn in different ways. So segment ME, and then point B is somewhere on it. Okay? A line containing points A, B, and C such that AC does not contain point B. Okay, so that means that A to C have to be next to each other because point B is not in segment in this little piece right there. Plane RGJP, so I'm just going to draw a plane. There's 4 points, R, G, J, P. Okay. Two non-collinear rays, MR and RX. So non-collinear means that those points are not shared on the same line because they are non-collinear. So, but they both have point R. So that means I'm going to do R as an endpoint, X. R is an endpoint here. R is not an endpoint here. So R is my endpoint for RX. R is not my endpoint for MR. So something to that effect. You will have a Schoology assignment over 1.1 that you need to complete. And you will also have a vocab assignment in this folder that you will need to make sure that you complete that and that you are studying the vocab and how to actually draw, say, and write all of these terms. All right, guys, have a good day. See you later.